Welcome, I'm Kaylin, a licensed relationship therapist and attachment coach. I cover all about how to develop a fulfilling and thriving relationship with yourself and others. So if you're on a journey of healing and conscious personal development, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about co-regulation in relationships. The takeaways I hope you gain from this discussion include understanding what co-regulation is, how it shows up in relationships, its manifestation across different attachment styles, and strategies to foster healthy co-regulation. Let's dive in. Co-regulation is a process where two individuals or more are supporting each other's emotional and behavioral responses. This mutual support helps both individuals manage their emotions and actions harmoniously. The co-regulation process takes place by each party responding to and understanding each other's cues, needs, and actions. It involves constant feedback loops and adjusting behavior in real time to achieve a state of harmony. Understanding cues may look like picking up on someone's tone of voice, body language, or facial expressions. Co-regulation is syncing up with another person's nervous system. Co-regulation happens before self-regulation. For example, we help babies regulate through co-regulation by ensuring their needs are met, like ensuring they are fed and changed, picking them up when they are upset. Co-regulation is having someone else support you in regulating, staying centered, and helping you calm your nerves. Self-regulation is keeping yourself balanced by self-soothing and meeting your needs. For example, self-regulation can take place by focusing on deep breathing and reassuring yourself when you are stressed. No, two dysregulated people can't help each other out. So you must learn how to self-regulate first. You learn how to co-regulate and self-regulate again in childhood. A big way parents teach kids to regulate is by staying regulated and centered themselves. The best gift you can give your children is a regulated nervous system. We as parents have to model what staying regulated, centered, and balanced is so kids can learn how to too. If you are stressed, dysregulated, it's very hard to co-regulate and support your partner, child, or friend. Co-regulation is also about asking for what you need. For example, you had a rough day and ask your partner for a hug. Healthy co-regulation as an adult occurs when you can self-regulate while also practicing co-regulation at the same time. So all mammals have the ability to sync up with another person's nervous system. Before we verbalize anything, I'm sure you have noticed you can pick up on people's energy. Have you ever heard your energy speaks before you do? One can also view this in the following way. If you're stressed out or calm, we can pick up on it. Your nervous system and brain are constantly picking up on the states of the people around you. Why is this so important? Well, being attuned to the people you care about lets you notice when they need support or comforting. It builds connection, but the most crucial part is being tuned into your emotional state, your own emotional state. If you are not tuned into your state, it will be hard for you to self-regulate and co-regulate. Our brains have particular neurons called mirror neurons, and they help us to understand and mirror the emotions of others. So this is a key part of co-regulation. When we see someone show an emotion like happiness or sadness, these neurons fire. They fire in a way that mimics that emotion in our brain. This helps us feel what they're feeling. This mirroring process lets us respond to others' feelings. We adjust our behavior and emotions to give comfort, support, or share in their happiness. This fosters empathy and deep connection. Imagine co-regulation like a radio, and you can tune into the feelings of the people around you. It's syncing your nervous system with theirs. Sometimes how much we pick up on other people's emotions depends on our past experiences. For example, enmeshment and codependency are relationship dynamics that significantly impact individuals' ability to attune to and co-regulate with others. So these dynamics can lead to challenges in maintaining healthy emotional boundaries and autonomy, affecting the natural healthy process of emotional attunement and co-regulation. Enmeshment trauma and codependency often lead to one-sided co-regulation. These individuals are typically hyper-attuned to other people's feelings while neglecting their own feelings and needs. And to learn more about enmeshment and codependency, I'll link the YouTube videos I have on this in the description. So co-regulation starts when we're babies. If a baby cries and their parent cuddles and soothes them, the baby learns that they can feel better with help and support. So as we grow up, we keep using this skill in all kinds of relationships, like with friends, family, or partners. So it really helps us feel closer to others and can make us happier and more comfortable in our own skin. So babies rely on co-regulation. For example, I have an 11-month-old. I might rock her, sing to her, or put on her favorite song to help provide her with comfort. And to support her in regulating her nervous system. I also make sure all of her needs are met and stay very attuned to her. Attunement from caregivers it's extremely important. For instance, a baby might start learning how to regulate by sucking their thumb or using a binky. Self-regulation is a skill we learn. It takes time and it's a developmental process, right, as we age. So the best way for a child to learn healthy self-regulation is really based on how well a caregiver can model good co-regulation and self-regulation. Our early relationships, especially with caregivers, teach us how to respond to others' emotions. So this mix of brain activity and learned behavior from our past helps us support each other emotionally in our relationships. Our nervous system in childhood becomes attuned to our primary caregivers, and we can get imprinted. So if your caregiver was constantly anxious, or also commonly referred to as fight or flight mode, your nervous system most likely will end up taking on the state as your nervous system's baseline. So this might look like you having a hard time relaxing, and you can actually get addicted to the stress response state, because when in the stress response, you're actually releasing some dopamine. However, over time, it can really take a toll on you in many different ways, because our bodies are not meant to constantly release cortisol and adrenaline and be stressed out all the time. Of course, you're not stuck this way. You can heal your nervous system, but again, we are heavily influenced by our caregiver's nervous system state. With my clients, the nervous system is something I heavily focus on first before anything, because our nervous system affects our physical health, mental and emotional well-being, cognitive function, sleep, social interactions, and overall all of our relationships. If we lacked good co-regulation modeling in childhood, it might be more challenging for us as adults to understand and manage our own and others' emotions as well. An example might be a child who gets upset and starts to cry because they're overwhelmed in a noisy, crowded place. If the caregiver ignores the child's distress or tells them to stop crying without offering comfort or understanding, the child misses out. They miss out on learning how to calm down while in a state of stress. This lack of co-regulation doesn't teach the child well. It doesn't show them effective ways to manage their emotions or get support from others when they're overwhelmed. This lack of co-regulation in childhood can really lead to challenges. It makes forming close relationships hard and feeling secure and supported hard. We might struggle to express our needs and feelings, or we might find it hard to respond to others' emotions. So this can stop us from building solid and empathetic connections with friends, family, and partners. There are different types of co-regulation: emotional, physiological, and behavioral. Emotional co-regulation is about providing empathy and understanding, active listening, and nonverbal communication. Example, reflecting back what someone is saying, really making someone feel seen and heard. Then there's physical co-regulation. This involves shared activities which can help synchronize heart rate and breathing, fostering safety and calm. This happens a lot, with babies. We're constantly doing this. So for example, rocking a baby close to your chest. Behavioral co-regulation can be looked at as providing someone guidance and feedback, adjusting behaviors so they're more effective or socially acceptable. For example, sitting down to plan financial goals together with your partner or working together on a budget is seen as behavioral co-regulation. Research tells us that being good at co-regulation in relationships can make us feel less stressed. It also makes us feel more secure and happier. Co-regulation is needed for deep connection. This is especially true in a romantic relationship. It is actually needed to move out of the power struggle stage. So this is the stage where partners face differences, conflicts, and individual needs. This phase follows or can be intertwined with the honeymoon phase. So we have to really have healthy interdependence, aka be able to support one another, be able to lean on each other for deep, healthy connection. It's like having a buddy system for our feelings and needs. When we share our emotions and work through them with others, we're not just being supported, we're also learning how to help each other. It's a win-win that makes everyone involved feel better and more connected. In the process of co-regulation, one partner might see the other is stressed and then they offer a hug or words of encouragement. In self-regulation, a person might notice their stress and then they choose to go on a walk or meditate to find calm. It's being able to balance self-soothing yourself and asking for support when needed. For example, with anxious attachment, they might always try to help others co-regulate. They tend to be big people pleasers. In doing so, they disconnect from themselves. So this makes it hard for them to really understand what they need. So they might struggle to ask for support and comfort. So what happens is co-regulation becomes this one-sided thing and often can lead to resentment. It's all about balance for healthy co-regulation. You can comfort me when needed, I can comfort you when needed, and I also can regulate myself. Co-regulation is an expression of empathy. For example, when a person listens and understands their partner's worries, it shows they truly get what the other is going through. This also, again, deepens connection. I'll say this a lot, it deepens connection because both feel seen and heard, strengthening their bond. Now, let's dive into how co-regulation functions with different relationships. So I talked a little bit, gave you some examples, but let me give you some more. I love examples because it really can paint a good picture about what co-regulation looks like. So in romantic relationships, it's the foundation of emotional intimacy and resilience. Partners co-regulate By, again, listening with empathy, they share vulnerabilities and give comfort and support. Both people feel understood, valued, and connected. This helps them bond and have a healthy relationship. A partner might ask for co-regulation by saying, hey, please talk to me in a calm, respectful way. It will make me feel more comfortable continuing this conversation. In friendships, they might co-regulate by sharing experiences and emotions. They also celebrate successes and support each other through challenges. This reciprocal emotional support helps individuals navigate life's ups and downs more effectively. For example, you might have an upcoming exam, you're stressed out, and your friend listens to your concerns without judgment. They also might study together. In families, co-regulation starts in infancy, like we've discussed. Caregivers respond to and support their children's emotions. This form of co-regulation sets the stage for a child's emotional development. And what does this do? What's the most important thing a parent can do? Model healthy co-regulation, self-regulation. It really shapes their ability to co-regulate in future relationships and self-regulate. So parent-child relationships become more reciprocal over time. Sibling relationships and extended family dynamics also use co-regulation. So they provide a network of emotional support and resilience. So some examples are providing guidance, offering support, shared experiences like celebrating holidays can all be emotionally regulating. The intensity and closeness of co-regulation depends on the type of relationship. The expectations for co-regulation can vary. For a healthy romantic relationship, co-regulation is needed. Co-regulation patterns can change in a relationship over time. So life transitions, personal growth, and changing circumstances can really influence this change. Open communication about emotional needs and boundaries is essential for co-regulation. Now, let's explore how different attachment styles interact with co-regulation in relationships. For anxious, preoccupied attachment, some challenges are this. You might find yourself tuning into others' feelings, but you neglect your own. This habit of putting people on a pedestal can lead to disconnection from yourself. So this disconnection can really prevent you from receiving proper co-regulation and also giving it. Also, being out of touch with your emotions can make it hard to self-regulate and give yourself what you need. So even though you are always trying to help others co-regulate, it can come from a stressed out state. Not being able to self-regulate while co-regulating can make it really hard to truly understand someone. Your understanding and attunement to others can be blurred by your assumptions, fears, and stories. Healthy attunement to others really starts with self-attunement. So some strategies for improvement are really cultivating self-awareness. This is key. Recognize when you're overextending in your efforts to help others co-regulate. Really embrace practices that genuinely nourish your emotions. So this can mean meditation or journaling. Really reflect on the needs you're trying to meet by maybe putting people on a pedestal, people pleasing, and hyper attuning to others. Really consider what beliefs you hold about connecting to yourself. Also, consider beliefs about taking up space by expressing your feelings and needs. What do you think about them? When you constantly abandon yourself, you cannot effectively co-regulate and be able to effectively give to yourself and others. Now, fearful avoidant attachment. Some challenges you may face are, you have mixed feelings, right? So individuals with fearful avoidant attachment want closeness but fear rejection. So this conflict can really lead to a push and pull dynamic in relationships. It really can complicate sharing emotions and needs, which is part of co-regulation. So you might fear sharing yourself, which can lead to one-sided co-regulation. You also might put all your energy into supporting others, and then get burnt out and then isolate. So FAs tend to push people away before giving them a chance to receive support. So some strategies for improvement are, really identify where and why you lack self-connection, self-attunement. Really look at ways you can practice self-regulation through your daily habits and routine and create more balance in your life. Explore the fears that prevent you from receiving support and comfort. For example, a belief might be, if I share myself, they will reject me, or I'm a burden, or it will create conflict if I express my needs. Practice identifying your needs and fears. You can start doing some exposure work on this by expressing maybe your feelings and needs with trustworthy and supportive people that really make you feel safe and seen. Mindfulness techniques can increase awareness of your emotional triggers. A lot of emotional triggers can come up for fearful avoidance in relationships. And then lastly, really look at where you overgive, just like anxious attachment. Notice what leads to you burning out and then isolating. How can you create, again, more balance in your life? Now, dismissive avoidant attachment. Let's get into some challenges they might face. So those with dismissive avoidant attachment often value independence and self-sufficiency above forming close emotional bonds. This self-focus might show up as a preference for solitude when dealing with stress or emotions. It is a reluctance to share feelings and needs and a struggle to ask for support. All these things prevent the process of co-regulation with others. Now, when a DA goes into solitude to self-regulate, they typically numb. It's not actually healthy regulation. For example, I buried myself in work and school when I had dismissive avoidant attachment. I would intellectualize my feelings and analyze them, or just avoid them altogether. So that's numbing and avoiding, not healthy self-regulating. Reminder, you can face temporary discomfort by processing and facing emotions, or you can create long-term suffering by avoiding and ignoring them, right? DAs also can have challenges in attuning to others. You might miss opportunities for co-regulation if you're out of touch with your own emotions. It will also be hard to give co-regulation and receive it if you feel sharing or listening to emotions and needs are uncomfortable. DAs can have beliefs that stop them from getting and receiving proper co-regulation. A common belief DAs have is that everyone should handle their feelings and needs on their own and not rely on anyone. So this belief, as you can see, can really interfere with healthy interdependence, which is needed for co-regulation. So some strategies for improvement. Really reflect on your fears and beliefs about receiving support and expressing your needs. Gradually open up to the idea that vulnerability is a strength. It's not a weakness. It allows you to fully connect with others authentically. Consider doing exposure work on this concept. Taking a small step towards sharing personal experiences and emotions with trusted individuals. You could take part in activities that really encourage emotional connections. So these can include collaborative hobbies, group therapy, or actually going to holiday parties instead of not going and never showing up. So this can help you ease into more integrated emotional experiences. So the most important thing is learning to connect to your feelings. So this will really support you in self-regulating in healthy ways instead of avoiding, and really can open the door for healthy co-regulation. So as you can see, all attachment styles have something in common. They have a hard time expressing their feelings and needs. So improving how we support each other in relationships can be really super helpful. So let's talk about even more ways, easy ways to get better at co-regulation, specifically in romantic relationships. But this again can be applied in other relationships too. So here are some exercises and strategies. So really listening. Try having a talk, where one of you shares something that happened recently, and then the other person's job is just to listen. Then they can reflect back what they heard, like, okay, so it sounds like you felt XYZ. So this is a good way to make sure you're really getting what the other person is saying by reflecting back what they're saying. The next thing is quiet time. So really practice listening without jumping in to respond right away or trying to solve the problem. Sometimes just knowing someone is fully listening is really comforting. And the next thing is sharing your emotions often. So set a daily or weekly routine for it, a weekly follow-up. You could share the highs and low points of your day. Or the week, right? If it's weekly. So really focus on expressing emotions openly and without judgment. The next thing is you could develop a system of signals or words. So they could convey your emotional availability or the need for support. For example, saying, I really need an ear right now could be a signal that someone needs to talk, right? This can ensure that you're both aware and responsive to each other's feelings and you have space for it at that time. Or I know a client where her and her partner had like these touch lamps with different colors. One color indicated when they were open to talking and another color indicated that they weren't, right? So that could be a thing too. The next thing is really try role playing different conflict scenarios. So this will help you practice responding with empathy, and empathy is crucial, right, for healthy co-regulation. It will also help you stay emotionally available even in tough talks. And then overall, self-awareness and emotional intelligence play crucial roles in co-regulation. So how can we foster this? Really understanding your triggers is important. You know what sets you off. You can tell others what you're working on and what you need, again, what you're more sensitive to. This helps them better support you. And then recognizing your needs. Knowing your needs lets you be able to actually express them clearly. So this makes it easier for others to be able to meet you halfway, right? So for example, a big one in romantic relationships is needing to feel seen and heard. So what makes you feel like you're seen and heard, valued, supported, and what doesn't? And really share this with your partner. Emotional boundaries. So understanding your feelings helps you set boundaries. It's like knowing how much emotional weight you can carry without tipping over, which is essential in mutual support. Now for emotional intelligence, again, going back to empathy is key. This is about stepping into their shoes. And if you understand your emotions, again, you can better understand someone else's. Then communication skills. So this helps you talk about feelings in a way that's clear and kind. And then conflict resolution, to piggyback off that, knowing how to handle your emotions and respond to others' emotions is key. It can really turn a potential argument into a useful talk. So when both self-awareness and emotional intelligence are in play, co-regulation becomes a dance where both partners are in sync. So in the bigger picture, consistently helping each other through emotional, behavioral, and physical co-regulation really creates a strong base for any relationship. It's like planting seeds of trust and watching them grow into a beautiful garden. So this garden of trust makes us feel secure, knowing we have someone who truly understands us. And over time, this deepens our bond with others, creating lasting connections that really can weather any storm. So let's wrap this up. I'll quickly recap co-regulation. I know it can be a lot. It's the secret to keeping our relationships healthy and supported. You can comfort me when needed, and I can comfort you when needed, and I also can comfort and regulate myself. Co-regulation is all about teamwork. It's meant, it means being there for each other. It's understanding the other person's feelings and facing those emotions together. Here's a friendly push for everyone watching. Try co-regulation in your daily interactions. Notice the difference it makes in your relationships, whether it's with friends, family, or partner. I would love to hear from you. So have you tried co-regulation in your relationships? Do you have any success stories or tips on making it work? I really encourage you to share your experiences and strategies in the comments below, because your insights could really help inspire, someone else on this journey in building stronger, more supportive connections. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.